Hey y'all, today we're making us some homemade pizza. So we're going to start out by getting our dough made, okay? So to your bowl, you're going to want to add 3/4 of a cup of warm water, about 100 degrees if you have a way to measure it. If not, really, really hot tap water has also worked for me. So either way you want to do it, whatever you got. Then we're going to add 1/2 tablespoon of sugar and 1 packet of the active dry yeast. Now, this is not the quick acting yeast, the fast rise. This is just the regular. We're going to go ahead and add that into our sugar and water, and then we're going to mix it around real good just to kind of make sure our yeast is, good and incorporated down in the water. And then my house is really cold, so I just go ahead and put a little towel over the top of the bowl. And then you don't want to let that sit for about 5 or 10 minutes, But I just let it sit while I'm getting the dry ingredients together. So to your bowl, you're going to add 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, and the other 1/2 teaspoon of that sugar. Because we need a full teaspoon of sugar for the recipe, but we want to use 1/2 of it in with our water and yeast, because that sugars get that yeast all nice and activated. And then we just go ahead and add the other 1/2, right into, our flour. And then you're just going to want to mix that up real good, And y'all, if you don't want to make homemade pizza dough, you certainly don't have to. You can do the other steps just on a regular store-bought dough if that's the route you want to take. But I will tell you, there is something about a darn homemade pizza crust. It is so good. And you can always add things to it. You can add some Italian seasoning or some garlic or, whatever, just to doctor up your crust if you want to. But I was just keeping it simple this day, just so I could show y'all the basics. So after about 5-10 minutes, you see our yeast is nice and bubbly. So now we're going to go ahead and get it mixing. Now I'm using my stand mixer here because I'm fancy and I have one now. But you're going to want to use your dough hook. And if you don't have a stand mixer, or you don't have a stand mixer that has a dough hook, you can knead this by hand. It's just going to be, you just going to wear yourself out. But not really, y'all. You can do it by hand. You just need to knead it a pretty good, bit of time to make sure that it gets good and incorporated and that the dough gets to the consistency that it needs to. So I turned my dough hook on low, kind of a low medium. I think I sped it up to medium after a minute or two. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in a tablespoon of oil. Now, I should have added this to my liquid mixture in the beginning, but par for the course, honey. Winging a prayer over here. I done forgot. So I just went ahead and added it in here, and it's fine. I just went ahead and mixed it, let it mix up some more until all my oil was, incorporated into my dough. So you're going to want to let this mix until it's a little bit sticky, but you see it's not sticking to my finger there, like none of the dough was stuck to my finger. That's what you want. Okay. So, y'all, I found this contraption on Amazon, and this has been the best thing. Look, it don't slip. Nothing sticks to it. It's just a silicone mat, and it covers up those obnoxious tiles that I have on my counter that I cannot stand. And let me tell you, it was way cheaper than replacing the countertops. So I will link it down below. If anybody is interested, or if you are in the same predicament I am with these countertops, this thing is really nice. So I went ahead, and the dough hook had done most of the work for me, but I went ahead, dropped a little flour down, and just kneaded around just for a minute. Now, I didn't cut any of me kneading this out, so you're seeing exactly how much I did, like, a few seconds of doing this. That's all I did. And then you can kind of put it into a little ball. And then I like to press into the top. If it bounces back, see how it's bouncing back like that? It's good and soft, but it's holding together real well. Well, now you know it's ready, okay? So to our bowl, we're going to add some olive oil. I added about maybe a tablespoon-ish of olive oil. You just want to make sure that you get the bottom and the sides of your bowl coated really well. And that way, when your dough rises, it won't stick to your bowl, So just get it good and coated. And this is just like a little pastry brush. And then I take my little dough ball and I put it, see how it's bouncing back, in case y'all couldn't see it a while ago. But we're going to put that down in our bowl. Make sure, like I said, make sure it's all good and coated. Now, I had a little extra oil on my brush, so I just went ahead and brushed that right onto the top of my dough. Or you could put it in there, flip it over, however. Just get a little thin coating of oil on your whole dough ball. It'll help it. It'll keep it from sticking, and it'll keep it from drying out while it's rising, right? So what I do is turn the light on in my oven. Don't turn your oven on. Cover it up and let it sit in there for about an hour. So after an hour, you see it's doubled up. It's pretty big. So I go ahead and just push the air out of it. You can poke it with your fingers. You can punch it with your fist, however you want to do it. Just kind of poke the air out of it. Then we're going to sprinkle down a little bit of flour, and we're going to go ahead and get our dough nice and rolled out into our pizza crust. Now, it's a little sticky because of the oil and everything, so that's why I put just a little bit of flour. You don't need a whole lot. And while we're rolling it out now, go ahead and get your oven preheating to 450, okay? So I just went ahead and I floured my rolling pin just a little bit because I didn't want to tear this pretty dough up on a dry rolling pin. And you're just going to want to roll it out. Now, I like a thin pizza, so I roll mine out pretty thin. If you like your crust a little thicker, you can roll it out, not quite so thin. And of course, I couldn't get it in a perfect circle, but you know what? Who cares? It's pizza. It ain't got to be pretty. It just needs to be pizza crust, right? So just do the best you can. See the little bubbles in there from our yeast? So we got some good looking dough here, y'all. It ain't a perfect circle, but it's good looking dough. So scooch that out of the way, and that's another good thing about that. You just take that to the sink, and you ain't even got to clean your counter, y'all. I'm telling y'all, I'm singing the praises of that thing. I use it all the time. So, all right, don't talk about my crusty pizza pan. I've had it for 137 years, and she works just fine. So just get you a pizza pan out. If you don't have a pizza pan, you can use a cookie sheet. Whatever it'll fit on, it'll be fine. So I just went ahead, and I'm just kind of, trying to even my dough out a little bit. And like I said, it ain't a perfect circle, but you know what? Ain't none of us perfect either, so I can't expect my pizza dough to be. So then I just take a little fork and kind of poke around in it, and that way it won't have, it won't bubble up. Now, if you don't mind the bubbles, you don't have to poke it. But, I like mine to be kind of, like I said, I like mine kind of thin, so. And then I just went around the edges and just kind of rolled over the edges just to make, like a pizza has a crust on the edge, like the edges, So I wanted a little edge on my pizza, plus it kind of holds your toppings in there. So then you're just going to go ahead and put whatever pizza sauce you want on your pizza and just spread it out in a little layer. Now, I used pizza sauce because I had some, but I have also used spaghetti sauce. I have doctored up some tomato sauce. Whatever you have will work fine. You can also add extra things here like Italian seasoning, garlic, whatever. Like I said, I just kept it easy today. And then I went ahead and added some mozzarella cheese. You can add some Parmesan if you want. I do that a lot, but I didn't have any this day. And so you just add your mozzarella, put your layer of cheese, and then I just did pepperoni. Now, you could do bell peppers, onions, mushrooms. You could do sausage, hamburger, whatever you like on your pizza if you just want a veggie pizza. But I just went with a plain old pepperoni pizza this day because, again, I was trying to keep it easy, y'all. I wasn't trying to be in that kitchen all night. So once you get that all nice and made, you're going to pop this in the oven, 450 for about 12 to 15 minutes until your cheese is nice and golden brown and that crust is done. Okay, and this is what she looks like. I was trying to show y'all what it looked like underneath, but then I had to get a different angle so y'all could see. See, it's nice and browned underneath there. Your dough is done, and those edges are puffy and they're soft. Y'all, this is a great pizza dough recipe. If you don't have one already, you can also make this ahead and freeze it if you want to, and it'll still come out perfectly fine. So this is our pizza. It's really good. I'm telling y'all, it's really good. There ain't nothing like some good old homemade pizza. So, all right, I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to pop y'all another video right over here, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Bye, y'all.